So cricket is where we begin on the SportsMax zone for this Wednesday. The governing body for the sport in the region, Cricket West Indies, is under new leadership, as you know. Last Saturday at the CWI's annual general meeting in Antigua and Barbuda, Dr. Kishore Shallow was confirmed as president, running unopposed after the Jamaica Cricket Association president, Billy Heavens' withdrawal from the race. Trinidad and Tobago's Cricket Association boss, Azim Bassarat, will serve as Dr. Kishore Shallow's deputy. The question is, what steps should the Vincentian take to achieve his four-pillar plan to improve the state of West Indies cricket? And where should he start? Well, we were eyeing an interview today with Azim Bassarat, the vice president. Didn't quite make that connection. So here to help us answer some of these questions, veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira, over 50 years in the business. Reds, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. Always a pleasure talking West Indies cricket with you. Your, in a nutshell, take on the Shallow performance in the previous administration and your expectations for the Vincentian in this new term?
Well, I think because of all what you and I and the rest of the region watching this program is very much aware of, I think it could be looked back upon as a period of not a great deal of success. A lot of promises were made, but those promises were not kept. And the key to any administration, Lance, is how the team is performing on the pitch. And the West Indies, during that Shallow period, really had a below-average performance. And people been judging the administration, the previous administration, will feel that they did not do a very good job, and there was just too much Roro, Bacchanal,
yes,
and a number of things.
Yes, but Reds, is it fair to use results on the pitch to assess the performance of an administration in West Indies cricket at the moment, when we have all accepted the fact that West Indies cricket needs rebuilding and there is no snap of the finger results to be expected from any administration at the moment? So isn't it that any administration in now will have a lot of preparatory, grass work and background work to set the platform for a future West Indies cricket improvement and not necessarily be judged on the results currently that we're seeing?
Well, I think what you just said applies to now. But don't forget, the Scared administration promised a great deal. The Scared administration felt that in Simmons they had the right man to take them forward, to take them up the ladder. And that was a major failure, starting with the firing of the coaching staff after we beat England so very easily.
Okay.
Dismissing the selectors, I think that is all where they went wrong. But I agree with you. It's a new dawn. One must say congratulations to Dr. Shallow. And we'll look forward to see, Lance, what he will begin his period of presidency with.
Yeah, and you keep referencing the Skerritt administration, but we all know that Shallow was his vice president. So the Skerritt administration was heavily Shallow as well, because those were the two men at the helm.
That is so, and I think that Dr. Skerritt, the new president, must own up to mistakes were made and to ensure those mistakes are not made again. And, let's wish him well. I mean, he had a manifesto which has been read and referred to, but there are some very interesting decisions to be made.
Yeah, and speaking about the manifesto, what did you think about the overall points coming out of his manifesto and just the plans that he has to take Cricket West Indies forward?
Well, a manifesto is one of intent, what we plan to do. how you implement it, how you go about putting plans in place to lift the level of administration, lift the level of financing, make decisions on coaching going forward, because there's a major decision for the West Indies board to come up with 2 coaches for the red ball and white ball. The cricket committee must come back to 6 from 16. We need to get the former players to mentor the former great players who are available to mentor, especially the under 17 and under 19. And I think, Lance, Mariah, the major question of finance, I think Dr. Shallow has got to come, and I don't want to choose a bad word, but has to be open with what is the position of the West Indies finance. Are we in the red? How far are we in the red? When can we clear that? Those are, to me, the important questions.
Right, and he will be assisted by his vice president, Azim Basarath. Your thoughts on Azim, and if you think he has the capacity to, push Cricket West Indies forward along with Shallow?
Well, I think he's like a new batsman making the side a little late in life, and one will have to judge him on his performance and how he supports Dr. Shallow, how he deals with the press, etc. It's too hard to take a judgment call on him. He has his own acquired style, and we just have to wait and see how the combination of Shallow and Basarath will in fact work.
Yeah, Reds, earlier you said that mistakes were made in the previous administration. I just wanted to get an understanding of what you feel some of those mistakes were.
Well, you are bright enough to know that we sent the wrong team to the World Cup. And, that really hurt a lot of West Indians. I think the decision to give Phil Simmons a 4-year contract instead of 2 was an error. I don't believe that the board ran as a total board. Many of the directors heard of things after the decision is made. And going forward, I would like to believe that Dr. Shallow will engage all directors before making those decisions. I felt that we missed an opportunity when we saved world cricket and saved England £300 million by going to England in the bubble, that we did not bargain for England to come back and in a way, repair the West Indies by, let's say, 2 A tours at their cost because of what we had done. I mean, we sent our players in very difficult times. Those are some of the things I can quickly tell you about.
Yeah, there's the issue of coaching as well, and I put this to Dr. Shallow when we spoke with him last week, that in 2019, when the Skerrit Shallow administration took over, I quite remember a major part of their manifesto was saying they wanted to invest in regional coaching talent, and they did not want to go outside of the Caribbean for that. When I put the question to Dr. Shallow last week, it seemed as if he is not as stringent as his administration, his team was in 2019 when they took charge. And he now seems open to opening the opportunities to others outside of the Caribbean. Do you think that that is the right thing to do at this stage?
Well, I think you read Dr. Shallow right. I feel that the West Indian first policy, which was supported by some voices who have totally disappeared, you don't hear them at all. I think that is something that Dr. Shallow probably will not continue with. We have a white ball coach, a red ball coach. We've seen what the rest of the world is doing. We see what England has done going towards a New Zealand former great. We have seen what the England white ball squad is now being coached by an Australian. Those are examples. Those are examples in the direction maybe we need to go. Whether we have the finance is another matter. And I go back to the finance. I think Dr. Shallow must come and say to the public, this is the position regarding finance. I think also I would like to see an effort to improve media relations. In the last couple of years, we have seen very late press releases coming about. I'm not attacking any one person. I'm just saying that the PR people, may have a free hand so that they can put out the information and not be sort of waiting for the go-ahead. I think also we need to look at the franchise system and how Dr. Shallow and his administration may be able to help the franchise system get stronger. The Leewards and Whitworths board needs special attention. It's not the same thing for Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, and Jamaica. That's one landmass, so to speak. But the Windwards are many islands, the Leewards are many islands, and they need some special understanding and some special attention. And I talk about a mentor. I like to see our great players given an opportunity to come and help our 17-year-olds and help our 19-year-olds, not necessarily coaching, but mentoring, telling them about their experience and how to go about putting together an innings, their attitude towards practice, etc., etc.
Yeah, Reds, I just want to say that on the point of media relations, I must admit that I feel that the Cricket West Indies media team, and I do understand the point about sometimes maybe some press releases coming out late, but I find that they are among the best in the Caribbean in terms of them disseminating information, in terms of them giving access to the coaches and players through press conferences and so on when they go on different tours. So I take the point you're making about sometimes the lateness, but I must say I find that generally, and I don't know if this is the experience of Lance and Mariah, that they are among the best in the Caribbean when it comes to media relations.
Yeah, I think the point that Ricardo is making, Reds, is that on tour and when things are happening with the cricket, the media team keeps the media close. Your point, though, Reds, is I think when some things are happening off the field or beyond the headlines, there isn't much coming from the media arm of Cricket West Indies to let the public know what is happening. So I just wanted to clarify, I think, where the disconnect is between yourself and Ricardo. But before you go, Reds, governance and the issue of term limits, a serious issue now, not only in cricket, but across the board. I know there was some discussion from the Cricket West Indies perspective about term limits. We saw Cameron going for 4 consecutive terms when he was replaced in 2019. What is your understanding of Shallow's take on term limits and the Cricket West Indies directors limiting the time span of any given administration?
Well, from the little I can pick up, or I did pick up, I think Dr. Shallow was interested in seeing the Webby report come to the board maybe at the AGM. I'm told that that was in fact presented by the outgoing president, but it was not admitted by the majority. The Webby report does in fact suggest a term of 3 years. So I think
3 years or 3 terms?
Well,
3 years.
Instead of a 2-year period.
Yes.
I think the Webby report was suggesting 3 years. I'm not
cycle.
too sure.
As a cycle.
About 3. Yes, I'm not too sure about 3 terms.
Yes.
So I think that if and when the Webby report comes up and has the support of the board, that may be one of the points made by Mr. Webby that may be accepted. But I just want to come back to the cricket committee, if you give me a minute, Lance.
Yes, quickly,
well, we need to have some Dujans, some Butts, some Nita, and some Perry, some King and Bradshaw. We really need a cricket committee made up of cricketers and headed by cricketers and not by an administrator. And there's a feeling that it's time for the manager of the West Indies team not to be a paid officer of the board, which would allow a little more information to flow, a lot more information to flow. And just to come back to the point of information, when players get injured, you struggle to find out what's the injury. A match is being played in St. Lucia, you do not know the squad 48 hours before. Those little things are very, very important.
All right, Rez, we're going to leave it there. Always a pleasure talking to you on the SportsMax Zone. I agree with Mariah that Dr. Kishore Shallow is a very personable individual, and we all wish him the best as a leader of this group.
And Lance, I was going to wear my Spurs shirt, but when I saw what your Puggley is wearing, I thought I'll put up something a little more colourful.
All right, Reds, we'll talk again soon, I'm sure. So Dr. Kishore Shallow becomes the second man from the Windward Islands to be president of Cricket West Indies. Remember, Julian Hunt had been president. His stint had ended somewhere around 2013. Of course, he's from St. Lucia, Shallow from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A lot more still to come on the SportsMax Zone. Back after this.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.